All right, we are back for another video in the series of counting rhythm. I'm not going to prolong this one. I'm going to try and keep this one shorter than the last one. This one will be dealing with counting the rhythm of eighth notes. Dealing with eighth notes as we build from quarter notes. If you're not familiar with quarter notes, see the previous video dealing with that. As we build from quarter notes, dealing with eighth notes, or the title I give them is 2 for 1 in my teaching method. The reason I give them that title is because, as we discussed in the quarter note video, it's 1 for 1. Every note you give the quarter note is just that note. Well, as we move along in the series with eighth notes, every one beat you give a quarter note, you give 2 eighth notes. So where you have in 4/4 or common time, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. This is what we give with quarter notes, 1 for 1. But with eighth notes, for every quarter note, you give 2 eighth notes. So here's eighth notes. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and stop. And as you hear me counting, you say the number, and every half or every eighth note after that you say and. So it's a number, the word and, a number, the word and. So you follow the number with the quarter note. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. As you see in the example, for every one quarter note, you're getting 2 eighth notes. In gospel music, you'll see this is a very familiar rhythm to use in a variety of ways. But I'll just use a funk example. We'll play a groove here. Okay, as we hear the groove, we hear the quarter notes. We remember from our quarter note video, we played 1 and 3 on the bass drum, we played 2 and 4 on the snare. Originally it was quarter notes on the hi-hat, now it's eighth notes on the hi-hat. 2 beats for every one quarter note, 2 strokes. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and some of the more familiar songs we play, just as a funk groove. And we're counting 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. One of the most familiar, in my opinion, the most well-known eighth note groove on the planet to most drummers is not so much in gospel, but Michael Jackson's Billie Jean. I'll play that for you now, and then we'll count it together. If you remember from the song, that's all you got from the drummer. It was a very consistent groove. It was what we call in the industry, in the pocket. Very much in the pocket. It's a very much a go-to groove to teach from and to learn from. And that's eighth notes. What we're going to do is we're going to play a couple of examples of how you can use eighth notes with rest in between the eighth notes to give different variations of that same rhythm. Here we go. Okay, what you heard there was a basic 8-note groove. This is what we just played before, but we played around with the 8-note rhythm. We put rest in various places just to give you different ideas of where the 8-note rhythm could and would occur. Like I said, you can speed that groove up, you can slow it down, you can change the groove and still use that same rhythm. But we still have 2 8 notes for every 1 quarter note, or the 2-for-1 title is what I give that rhythm of 8 notes. As we refer back to our quarter note, our chief cornerstone of rhythm, quarter notes, we get 1 for every 1 beat we play. With 8 notes as spoken, we get 2 strokes for every 1 beat we play. If you're playing with a metronome that clicks, then you get one and 2 and 3 and 4 and. This is important to drummers to understand, because sometimes you're going to play the and of the 8th note and not the number. I'll give you a groove of it for an example. 1, 2, ready, and. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. It's just a slight example. I can list many and many of different ways you can switch up the 8th note and still utilize the same rhythm. It's important to understand as drummers, when we're switching rhythm and when we're just rearranging the rhythm, we're not changing the rhythm that we're using. So we'll understand the terminology and the rhythm that coexists with it, so we use it properly. All right. I hope you enjoyed this quick lesson on 8th notes or 2-for-1, and we'll dig deeper into the series of counting rhythms another time. You all be blessed.